so she speaks Portuguese and English, and this is an advantage for all this fantastic audience. But I'll let Maria talk to you and explain everything she does. Maria, it's with you.
So it's a pleasure to be here with you, and thanks so much for attending this webinar at a Friday. So as Cristina said, I speak Spanish. I come from Barcelona. I'm living already here 20 years. So I know a lot how the Latin American people are working and dealing with this last minute. And I also speak Portuguese because of the projects we have with Brazil. So yeah, bem-vindos y bienvenidos en este webinar. So if you want, we can start with the presentation. I'm going to share my screen. I hope it's going to be okay. Then I have to change it. So, do you see everything okay? Yes?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Thanks so much. So, we work the destination of Berlin, but we are an incoming at the MC of Germany. So we have our headquarters in Berlin. We were born 2008, and we're working with, the pillars of MICE, business travel, also luxury and leisure. And this is actually our start, our beginning. Well, that's me with short hair. It's been already long ago, 4 years ago, but the company is more than 17 years old. We start as a tour company dealing with tours in Spanish in 2008. Then the business expanded with tailor-made programs, and then we started with Berlin, but we had so many demands in Germany, so we started to work with Germany, with whole Germany. And then 2011, more or less, we started with the incoming, with a lot of leisure groups, and then we customized every project, and we started with the luxury segment because of also Latin American markets. And nowadays, luxury segment and MICE are the most important pillars of the company, and we have become one of the leading DMCs for the Spanish and Latin American markets. Our team is small. I always say small and mighty. So we are a driving force of seven people covering sales, operations, in leisure and MICE, marketing, business development, and also general management. So it's small, but we are really this Latin American soul, and working a lot and in different times, dealing with WhatsApp and all these things that you already know. We have an own team of guides, and this is for us a big flexibility for last minute bookings. So we work with about 15 native Spanish-speaking guides in Berlin. They know, they know the kind of clients we have. They know my manias. They know everything about how we work. So we don't have to ask for an external guide and talk everything about the client, about ourselves. And that's very flexible for us and for you guys. If you have last minute bookings, or maybe one group more in a very short time. So we can always reschedule everything and try to manage what guide has a better profile for your group. Our job is to translate your briefing into a destination experience. So the information you guys give us is key, and it's not about always the budget. So it's very important for me and for us to have the expectations of the group, the customer's taste, because you can love classical or modern issues. So that's very important for us, and that's key to reduce our time, to reduce our work, and to get a major impact to the customer. And once at the destination, our mission is to achieve, of course, with this 100% of satisfaction. And that means turning no's into a maybe or a yes. Probably you have already experience with the destination of Germany. And the service is quite different as the ones we know in Latin America. And they are not as flexible as we want sometimes. So our job is really to try to get this no to a yes, and sometimes it feels a couple of minutes more than in other destinations. So that's our job, and we try our best. So keep in mind, despite we do these double and triple checks in every project, it's very important to have a support on site, just to guarantee you that the whole team of suppliers goes in the desired direction, that the waiter is doing his job, or maybe the supplier of buses, the driver. That's very important always to have this support on site, because if not, you can have surprises. And let's gonna talk about the destination itself. So the way to discover the city of Berlin, it's very plenty. So there's 1,000 ways to discover Berlin. We're talking about 8 years of history, and it's impossible to avoid the history to show this city. You cannot go to different venues, to different attractions without telling something about the history of Berlin. So it's very important to understand why this building has this meaning, or why this venue is so special. And I'm going to tell you with just a few issues how you can impact your groups. Maybe you can show the city with 15 minutes and through a destination, or through an attraction. An example is Berlin's Odyssey. That's an attraction of the TV Tower of Berlin. It's located in the city center of the city. And we have 15 minutes with virtual reality, and it tells about 9 centuries of Berlin city history. So it goes by very quickly. This is a very emotional journey, and culminates with a very nice panoramic view on the 365-meter high platform, which is quite entertaining and very dynamic. So you have to invest just 1 hour during your tour, and you have a very different way to learn about Berlin and to have a big emotional impact. Another way to know the city is through a location, of course. And I have a very special example, which is the Meistersaal am Potsdamer Platz. As you see in the picture, it looks like a very boring chamber music hall, but it's a very special place if you are in love about history, if you're passionate about history, about music, and about, I don't know, the 80s, of course, too. No? So here we have the legendary recording studio of artists like David Bowie or U2. So if you know the song Heroes, probably you know this legendary song. So it was recorded in this room. And if you do a boring symposium, or you have a meeting, and you have to go to a venue, but in a sudden you listen to the song, so the group is going to have a very different experience, of course. So if you are going to this venue with a transfer, you have the guy telling about this history, about this Berlin Wall, about this very interesting time and a very known time about the history that you can transmit a lot. And this is one of the locations that looks very, well, uncommon, but at the end it's a very emotional one. And then another way to know the city is also through a restaurant. So we have plenty of restaurants in the city, but not all of them have a history. And this is Paris, which is located in the Humboldt Forum. Humboldt Forum is a new building, a reconstruction of the old Prussian castle in Berlin. And it shows a big transformation of the city. So it was a Prussian castle. Then during the GDR times, we had one of the parliaments there. And nowadays we have the reconstruction of this castle, but it's a culture hub, a cultural hub for the citizens, for the visitors. It's a kind of place for events, but also for experiences, to share opinions, discussion. So it's a way and a location where you can talk about this and not only have a dinner. And I'm going to show you the impact we had with the group, which was a group from the pharmaceutical industry. They had a program just very classical, but we had these little points, and we had a big impact for them. So I'm going to show you the experience I had. That's a very small one, a very small video, but just to have the feeling that sometimes you don't need a big budget, or you don't need a big group, a big incentive to impact emotionally your group, and to have a nice memory about the city, about the destination. So you can, with a very small program, you can have very nice results. In Berlin, you have a lot of locations, but I like to show you always locations with this Berlin seal, and locations that show you, that can tell you in a story, and that give this bigger impact to your group. For instance, you have locations where you can be creative, and an example is Teufelsberg. Teufelsberg is on the west side of the city. It's on the top of a hill called Grünewald. In this hill, you have, under the hill, you have rest of the different stones of the Second World War. So it's a hill with a lot of stories, with a lot of history. And after all this time, and after the GDR time, the time of the Berlin Wall, we had a center of spies there. And then nowadays it's like a graffiti pleasure for all the street art artists, and also a venue where you can see a very nice view of the city. So it's a different way to know the city, because you have history from the Second World War, and you can talk about these 90s, these results after the Cold War. You can talk about the subculture, the street art in Berlin, and all these cultural scene that is so important in the city. It looks like this Teufelberg is just in the air, so it's everything open air, but you have a place where you can have dinners close, and so if you have bad weather, you can also play it a lot with a venue. If you don't want to be creation, but you want to be unique, you have this Axica. Probably you know this location because it's one of the most iconic locations in Berlin. It's a very nice place. It's located next to the Pariser Platz, which is the square where Brandenburger Gate is located. This wonderful building is made by Gehry, but Frank Gehry. Probably you're going to know this name, this architect. And it's a kind of mixture of elegance and modernity. Also, the services there are quite perfect. So the catering is very nice. You have a very nice service, and it's really a location that where you get this wow effect from the customer. So it's very surprising, because it looks like a building which is very very simple. You have a facade which is not very nice. And this is because of the canon we have in the square of Brandenburger Gate. The most important piece of the square must be the Brandenburger Gate. So the other buildings are like, well, nice, but they are not iconic enough. But when you get in this building, then you have the big surprise, and you see a kind of fish. You see big whale. You see these waves, and it's wow. It's really amazing. You can be in the big room. This is the picture that you see in this presentation. But you have inside the whale a very small room, which is perfect for, I don't know, meetings, small dinners. So you can play a lot with this location, and you have up to 3 or 4 spaces you can rent for an event. And Berlin is also a place known for this subculture, this techno scene, and these industrial locations. This is an industrial one. This is Kraftwerk. You have a lot of different examples of venues which have this industrial character. This is Kraftwerk. This is located in the very center of the city. And this is the place which was used during the German Democratic Republic for the electricity supply. Right now, it's just a place for culture, for events, and you can have a lot of different people hosted there. Over there, you can talk a lot about the story and the transformation of the city. because you can play a lot with the arts, with installations, and this is really an iconic case and temporary part of Berlin, which is this techno, this industrial, this subculture, this artistic part of the city. And of course, it's important to go local. You have a lot of different venues in different districts of Berlin. So you don't have to be always in Mitte, which is 7 kilometers from the Brandenburger Gate, everything. But you can go a little bit far away, like 10 kilometers, and you have nice quarters which are very realistic about this multicultural society of the city. And one of the things that we love to show you is this Arminius Markthalle, which is a market where you can buy food and you have different spots. You can taste different arts of street art food from the city. So this is situated in Gorwit. You have this architecture which is iron and brick. And this is also a place which is very traditional for this 19th century, with this beginning of the 19th century, with this architecture of brick. And you have a lot of artisan food stalls and these local delicacies of the Berlin city. So as you see, I'm just trying to show you that the power of the storytelling in the city is key. If you mix maybe a boring guiding tour and all these attractions, you can have a very nice product. And this is one of the things I would recommend for the groups that you host here in the city of Berlin. I know you guys always are asking about experiences, and I always say you don't need a top product to offer a nice experience to your customer. So the experience is at the end, what you assemble and transform into an unforgettable journey. So the thing that we have to manage in Berlin, Berlin is not a posh city. So you have a lot of posh spots, but at the end, it's a very trash city in a good way of sense of meaning. So you have this industrial, this subculture, and this is a very important part of Berlin. You have these curry bars, this food, which is, I always say, the food, the traditional food for after war. So you have a lot of different types of restaurants, a lot of different type of experiences and venues, but not always a top. And the top product, the expensive one, is the one who's going to give you the best experience. So I think the good mix in the city let you show the perfect experience of this destination. One of the experience you can offer for a simple tour, city tour of the city, is a tablet rally, which is showing old clips about the history of Berlin, maybe some images from the Nazi time, some images and clips about the fall of the wall. You can see how was everything after the war. So you can see all these clips, all these small films, and then you can observe the city with your own eyes. So it's a kind of happy and funny way to know the city, but at the end you are learning about all the different parts of the time of the history of the city. You can be more GDR, I would say, and you can do this Trabi tour, which is a very old offer, but always that we offer this tour, you guys are having a lot of fun. So it's a very nice way to see the east part side of the city. So the east part side is a part where you have more buildings, where you have all the history. And if you are enjoying this with a Trabi tour, it's more funny. It's funnier than the traditional tour, of course. You are driving out by your own. You have a leader that leads you to different streets of the city, and you are guiding in a funny way. So it's a very nice way to know the city, and it's a very good way to have a little break during a standard tour in a bus, for example. I always like to be special or to offer a special thing to the customers. And of course, we don't have to forget gem of this city, which is also the culture. We have a very nice museum island, which is recognized by the UNESCO already in 1999. We have in the museum island 5 museums, and one of them is the Neues Museum. This is the new museum where we have this Egyptian collection. One of the pieces that are most known is the bust of Nefertiti, which is in your screens. And you can visit this museum just alone when everybody's gone, and just for you, for your group, you can visit for not so many money this museum. If you want to do maybe a reception, if you want to do a dinner there, it's also possible. The budget is quite different, but just the way to visit this special museum, just you and your group, it's the same if you are 200 or just 2 people. You can surprise the people, you can make them feel special. And this is a very nice thing of Berlin, because it's really an important thing about us. So this museum culture is really big in the city. And I think the good mix makes the experience even better. And of course, food is important. We have a lot of different types of restaurants in Berlin. Of course, we have to go traditional always with the sausages, with the coal, and also with the pork. But at the end, we have a lot of different styles of foods and gastronomy. And I think it's nice to show how the trend is being in Europe and in Germany. And it's very nice to know that it's not that much, but 2% of the people in Berlin are vegan. And we have one vegan restaurant which is with a Michelin star, and this is one of them. It's Bombiban. It's situated in Schöneberg, which is a very small district of Berlin, and you can do workshops there. So you are in a Michelin starred restaurant. In the part that they are doing and organizing workshops, you can do workshops. For a dinner, you can do a cocktail workshop. So it's quite small, it's quite tiny and very special, because it's really local, it's really special, it's really trendy, and really a different way to know the gastronomy and the culinary part of this city. We have 5 minutes and it's your time for questions. So thanks so much. Obrigada. Gracias. Y ahora entráis vosotros. I'm going
Que
to mix.
maravilha! Berlim é um espetáculo. Eu amo. Queria saber de vocês, quem mais ama Berlim?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I'm
Conte
Vera.
ano.
I work for
Vera.
Sanofi in Brazil.
Yeah.
And just curious to know about traffic in Berlin, because you showed those cars and people can drive by themselves, right? How is traffic there?
I mean, in comparison with Mexico, Sao Paulo, Rio,
yeah.
well, it's very relaxing. But I mean, if you go to one side to the other side of Berlin, you need 40 minutes. So for trade fairs and everything, sometimes you need to schedule about 40 minutes. But it's really relaxing, and during the weekends, it's like nothing there. So it's for a
Quite
guest,
good.
it's
Mhm.
quite good. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. An
You're welcome.
amazing destination. Yeah. Thank you.
Anna, you have a question? Anna, you raised your hand. Or anyone else? Questions? Comments? Experiences? No question, okay. So you see, the thing about the guides that Maria was mentioning, this is quite important, because this means content. So when we are talking about all those amazing venues, this historical thing, either modern or old, classical, we are talking about including all this content and with the creativity and thinking outside the box. Maria can transform these venues or whatever you have in mind for your group, and using the venues, using the setting to make it outstanding and unforgettable. So that's the idea. And I think Berlin totally allows that, as this is such fast-moving city in many directions. You have seen one of the venues that Maria mentioned today in the newsletter, Inspirici or Inspirate, that you received today. And I hope you liked it and that you come to Berlin anytime with us. More questions, comments? Berenice, anything you'd like to say?
Not now, but if you have a few minutes later, it could be great. It's an spell
Okay.
for a specific group. Thank you.
Fantastic. So I will be sending you guys this video. Actually, I am organizing all the webinars in one online place, and I'll let you know. And also with the presentations. Let me just tell you that Inspire Mice likes to have this this mix or this involvement with all the DMCs that are part of my group. So if you have a program that includes, let's say, Germany and Italy or Portugal, we can put together both DMCs, even being from different companies. We can make a meeting and with them all together and discuss the program so it does not repeat, so it has a flow and it has the same red thread. And it is so like this that we have here with us today, Justin from Destination Arabia, another DMC of Inspire Mice. And next week, next Friday, we have Destination Arabia in Destination Expert by Inspire Mice. So I hope you liked Germany, and I hope to see you again next week. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being there.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.